It's hard to say a win is a win. I didn't do a very good job getting these guys ready. Today, I'll take all the blame on that. I give all the credit to Barry Henson, his staff at Southern Illinois, to keep competing and playing the way they are, even though they've lost some tight ones and some tough ones. They've been getting better. They're better than what they were earlier in the year. We've had a tough time against us. They handed it to us down there. They did the same thing to us today, and the only reason we won, I think, today is because we were home and our fans kind of helped us get through. So I'll commend it to Southern Illinois. We didn't deserve to win. They did. And I think our fans got us through that one.
Questions?
Greg, you say that you didn't get the team ready, but how much did the players have to take some of the blame for that too? I mean, they didn't seem to be ready on their own part a little bit.
They're a hard-working group. They're a good group of guys. They're unselfish. I don't know. Maybe it's what I say to them pregame. Maybe it's maybe I'm different before the Creighton game than I was today. I'm not sure, but we have to be better. If we want to, you know, it's fine if you just want to finish in the upper half, but if you want to contend for a championship, you can't play like you did today. We didn't get better today, but Southern Illinois had a lot to do with that.
Early on offensively, what was there in the first opening couple minutes? It seemed that they kind of had an answer for what you guys wanted to do offensively. Yeah, I mean, you know, we turned the ball over 5 times, I think, in the first 4 minutes, so it's hard to get good shots when you're doing that. They were attacking, they were controlling the tempo. We were a step slow at both ends all night, step slow at both ends, and especially the start. You know, we did have some decent spurts of play in there when we make runs. We just made way too many mistakes at both ends.
Coach, talk about, you said the slow start, the way Christian came off the bench and really wasn't picking me up in the first half for you guys.
He's a personality of our team. He's a high-energy guy. He's the one picking him up in the locker room after the game when the coach isn't real happy with how they played. He's a great kid, and that's what he gives to you. He really does. And he got 5 offensive rebounds tonight. If he can keep doing that for us, that'll really help us. But you know, all of them had hand in making some mistakes and doing some things, and probably practices needed to be a little bit better coming into this one.
Talk about the end of the game. Obviously, everybody knew Jake was going to have the ball. Just talk about the way he continues to, I mean, whether he finds someone or hits the clutch shot for you guys.
Yeah, you know, you look at the Drake game, and we're all kind of standing there waiting for him to just make a shot so we could go home with the win down there, too. We rely on him heavily. He's a playmaker. You know, everybody here, and including Southern Illinois, knew he was going to make a play for himself or for one of his teammates, and I really thought that one he was going to have to give up, but he made a great play, and you know, it was a game-winning play, and that's what Jake is. He's a winning player.
Can you talk about how that played out? He took the shot at 19 seconds. Did you feel like you needed a shot to not leave it to a last-second shot?
Yeah, I really did. You know, I asked Lou when we're in the timeout, should we get the last one? You know, because I just wanted that thing to be over and us to get a win, but we felt like a little bit there at the end. When we didn't foul, we were better on defense than what we were earlier in the game, so I felt comfortable with guarding them, and also with the lead there, you know, whether you foul, if you get in a bad way, you can foul, but I'd rather, you know, win it with ball in Odom's hands on offense and then rely on our defense to win.
Talk about RJ, hit several clutch shots down the stretch for you tonight.
Yeah, he did. He was big, and he was one of the ones I was on, you know, at the start of the game, and just weren't locked in enough. You know, it's disappointing because our fans deserve better after the way we played the last time, and maybe I was too lackadaisical a little bit, but RJ hit some big shots, and he has no fear. I mean, he's a scorer, and he does that for you. The bigger the limelight there, the more he shines in those situations too. So we needed to get him some shots, and he came through for us.
Talked about relying on your defense there at the end with the last second shot for Southern. Your thoughts on the defense?
It was good. The only thing that I was a little upset about, man, he got to go grab that ball with 2 hands, and we really did a good job. RJ switched to the guard, which we don't normally do a lot. Everything was really good and really locked in. We get that loose one, and that's what happened a lot to us at their place. You know, the 50-50 balls that we talk about, they're knocking it out of our hands. They're coming up with them. We're swiping at it with one hand, and a possession is gold. You win by 1, so one possession can win or lose you the game, and you have to go and be tough and get it with 2 hands.
Last few games, you guys are making a lot of progress. With today's game, and you feel the team might have taken a step back?
No, I mean, sometimes guys aren't going to be as locked in as they need to be and play as well as they should. We couldn't play any better than we played against Creighton. These are a good group of guys that work awfully hard, and I got to be a little bit better. I don't like to be a cheerleader. I wish that some of the guys would maybe do that more, but I trust them. I really do. There's not many times that even if they come out a little slow that they don't respond awfully well, and we'll get better these next 2 days of practice, and we got 2 big road games this week.
Greg, does
the challenge of going on the road again? It's been tough this year in the conference.
Yeah.
The 2 road games ahead for you guys.
Yeah, and then we get 2 tough opponents. Boy, I really all the coaches in this league, but these 2 guys, what Paul and what Gino have done with their 2 teams this year, just winning games and the way they're prepping their team and the way that they're playing to give them a chance to win. You got to give them a lot of credit. They'll be dogfights. They really will. We expect nothing more, just like the one we had tonight. So we have to have 2 good days of practice to get ready to go Tuesday.
Does Southern's lack of size, is that what kind of creates the matchup problem? Because somebody like a Pendleton seemed to be hard to guard. He was able to get a step on guys like Gant and RJ to get to the basket. Is that what makes them tough for this team to?
It is, and you know, you can either play bigger or sub to counteract what they're doing when they're playing smaller, and that's probably one thing I do too much against them. I go smaller to counter what they're doing instead of maybe staying a little bigger. So that's something we'll have to think about if we happen to play them again in the tournament. But they're just tough. Those guys stick their nose in there. You know, Pendleton is a football player. We recruited him, and he hurt us in both of these games. He's a good player, and Desmar Jackson is as talented as anybody in the league. We just had a tough time. They spread you out. They drive you. They got the Daniels in there around the basket. That's a load that's hurt us as well. So it's just a tough team to defend for us.
You mentioned wanting to, try to be a team that can compete to win the league championship. With the way things developed this week, that's there. That opportunity's there. Are you trying to get that in your guys' minds, or do you want them kind of more focused on the next game?
You know, I've been asked that this week. And we really don't talk about what can happen at the end of the year. What we really talk about is getting better every day, so that by the time St. Louis rolls around, we can win 3 games in 3 days. That's more what we talk about. But today, after the game, I did talk about. If you want to, you got to get better every day in practice, and you can't come out and perform like you did today. If you want to contend for a championship, if not, we'll go try to finish in the upper half and go down to St. Louis and try and win. But if you want to have the guts to compete for something in this league, you got to keep continuing to improve.
After a start like that, what's the mindset, and what are you telling the guys?
Oh, lucky my athletic director is blocked and can't hear me in some of those huddles, but I was frustrated, and I try to stay under control and be calm, but sometimes I feel a little bit more than they do, and that's rare with this team because they're competitive and they're working hard and they're doing awfully well. And then when you have a little slip up, I expect them to be perfect and terrific all the time. So you just try to get them motivated, and then at the end you got to stay calm because if you lose your mind in a timeout or a huddle, then they're going to too. You need to handle the game with calmness, and when you got Jake Odom, he's going to be calm no matter what you say and do. So somehow we found a way to win.
How much respect do you have for what Christian Smith having to sit out the year and to come out and then be a guy who can start it, take the energy going to it?
I'm glad you asked that because to go through what he's gone through, and to right the ship academically, be at a prep school, still not qualify, having to go through last year with his terrific personality and the big part of the team that he is, to not be able to do anything with the team. He just was going to class, he was around in the offices, he worked out on his own, he lifted with our strength coach. That was it. So he gets better every day. And his personality and how much he's matured since I've known him as a freshman in high school is unbelievable. He's a wonderful kid to be around every day.
Greg, I don't know who took the charge in the last minute. Greg, how big was that? Gives you the ball right back after Maher missed the 3.
Yeah, it was huge, and RJ's the one that took it, I think, wasn't he? Yeah, RJ's the one that took it, and he's our best charge taker. And he's not doing near as much this year because he got a concussion at the beginning of the year, so we kind of told him to quit doing it. Now we're getting back to it, so if he's not going to do it in practice, he's not going to do it a game. And we got to be a better charge taking team, and we got a couple big ones tonight.
Anything else, guys?